Hello everyone. Tonight we're doing Lesson 10 from Module 1. We're going to be subtracting decimals using place value and relating that to a written method. I'm hoping this lesson will be fairly short because it's very similar to the addition that we did last night. It's just subtraction. So we'll start off by subtracting 3/10 from 5/10. So I need to make discs for my 5/10, and this time instead of adding, we're subtracting, so I'm going to use a red mark to cross off 3 of the discs, and then I'm going to circle the 2 I have left, and I have 2 discs left in the 10ths place. So that would be 2/10. And the written method is going to be written in standard form, 5/10, subtract 3/10. 5 minus 3 is 2 in the 10ths place. 0 minus 0 is 0, so I have 2/10 left as the answer. Let's do one that is a bit more complicated. This will be 7 ones, 5/1000 minus 2 ones, 3/1000. So I need to put 7 ones, 7 in the ones place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I need a 5 in the thousands place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the only place that people tend to get confused with subtraction is you really need to remember that the first number in the equation is the one that you're going to represent in your place value chart. And the second number in the equation will be the number that you cross off. So I need to cross off 2 ones. Cross that off, good. And I need to cross off 3/1000. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take a look at what I have left. It looks like I have 5 discs left in the ones place, and I have 2 discs left in the thousands place. I have 0 in the tenths and 0 in the hundreds. So my answer is going to be 5 and 2/1000. Let's use the written method and see if we get the same answer. 7 ones and 5/1000. Subtract 2 ones and 3/1000. I'll have 2 in the thousands place, 0 in the hundreds place, 0 in the tenths place. Don't forget the decimal or your answer will look like it's wrong. And then I'll have a 5 in the ones place, 5 and 2/1000. Okay, now it's your turn. 900ths, 500ths, subtract 300ths. Okay, it's going to get slightly more complicated now because we'll need to do some regrouping. So I've got 83/10 minus 6 and 4/10. So I'm going to write 83/10. I know that every 10/10 is 1 whole, and I've got 80, so that means I'm going to have 8. Whoops, I forgot. I have to make my place value discs. I'm going to have 8 discs in the ones place, and I have 3 discs in the tenths place. And then I will switch over to my red pen to cross off 6 in the ones place, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I also want to cross off 4 in the tenths place, but I have a problem because there's only 3 discs over there. So what I have to do is move one of these ones over here, and I'm going to turn that into 10/10 because 1 whole is equal to 10/10. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I can cross off 4 because I've got more than 4 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have a total of 1 left in the ones place. And let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 left in the tens place. So my answer will be 1 and 9/10. Okay, to use the written method, I am going to write 83/10. Oops. And I could actually write this in standard form, or I can use unit form. I'm just going to use unit form this time to show you what it looks like. 83/10. 6 and 4/10 is the same as 64/10. And when I subtract, I cannot take 4 away from 3, so I'm going to borrow 1 or regroup and turn that 3 into a 13, just like I did over here. I moved 10 over with my original 3 to make 13, and then I've got 1 less over here, so that becomes a 7. 13 minus 4 is 9. 7 minus 6 is 1. So my answer is 19/10, but written in standard form, it's 1 and 9/10. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Let's see. Okay, it's your turn. 9 and 2/10 minus 6 ones and 4/10. So please make a place value chart. Do the subtraction. You will need to regroup. And then I'd like you to also use a written form. And you can either just use standard form, making sure your decimal points are lined up. Or you can, if you like the way that I did it in the last one where I subtracted in unit form, you just have to make sure that the units are the same in both numbers if you're going to do it that way. Accident, sorry about that. For our last feat of mathematical fabulousness tonight, we're going to subtract numbers where we have to regroup multiple times. So I'm going to start off with 831,000. So I need 8 in the tens place. I need 3 in the hundreds place. And I need 1 in the thousands place. And I need to subtract 292 thousandths. I'm going to start over in the thousands place, and I see right away that I cannot subtract 2 because I only have 1 there. So I'm going to have to take one of these and move it over where it becomes 10 every time it moves to the left. It's 10 times as much, when it moves to the right. 10 times as many dots. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and now that I've done that, I can subtract the 2. So I'm going to cross off 1, 2, and I'm going to move over to the hundreds place, and I want to subtract 9 from the hundreds place, but I've only got 2 left over there, so I'm going to have to regroup again. And I am going to move one of these in the tens place over here, and it's going to become 10 hundredths because 1/10 equals 10 hundredths. Okay, there are the 10. Now I can do my subtraction. I want to take away 9 of those, and I've got enough to work with, so I can subtract. I'm going to start at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those. Okay, and now for my last subtraction, I have to take 2 away from the tenths place, and I've got more than 2, so I'm in good shape. I'm going to cross those off. Then I'm going to go back and see how many I have left in each place. Looks like in the tenths place I have 5, and in the hundredths place I have 3. So when you go back, this is another reason why I like to make arrays when I make my dots, so I can see what I have left over. It's easy to get sloppy on the subtraction, and when it's time to count up your discs, you miss one. But I noticed that one down below, and I see that I have 3 in the hundredths place, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 left in the thousandths place. I have a 0 in the ones place, and there's my decimal, so I have 539 thousandths left. Now we're going to use the written method. 0 and 831 thousandths, subtract 0 and 292 thousandths. I cannot take 2 away from this 1, so I've got to turn it into 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. I cannot take 9 away from 2, so I'm going to have to turn that one into 12. And 12 minus 9 is 3. And then in my tenths place, 7 minus 2 is 9. I need to put my decimal down because 939 is not my answer. It's 939 thousandths. And I'll put a 0 in the ones place for good measure to make sure that people notice that decimal there. Okay, this one is a slightly more difficult because we're going to have to subtract across zeros this time, which is complicated for some people. So we'll see how it's done on the place value chart, and then hopefully the written method will make more sense to you. So I'm going to start off by putting my first number into the place value chart. I've got 4 discs in the ones place. I have 0 in the tenths place. I have 8 in the hundredths place, and I have 3 in the thousandths place. Then I need to subtract 1 and 29 hundredths, and I'm going to go first looking at the hundredths place, and I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, not enough. So I want to borrow 1 from next door, but there is nothing next door. So I'm going to have to go all the way over to the ones place to regroup. And that means that, I'm going to have to move one of these. I can't move it all the way over to the hundredths place in one leap. I could, but then I'd have 100 of them over there, and I really don't want that many. So I'm just going to move it over one place, and that means that I'll have 10 tenths. So I'll go ahead and put those down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And now I'm going to move one of those tenths over to the hundredths place, and it's going to become 10 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I wanted to subtract 9, and I did already subtract 8, and now I've got one more that I need for a total of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Great. Okay, So I have subtracted the 9, and now I want to subtract 2 from the tens place. Well, it's a good thing I moved those 1s over there already, because I would need them there anyway. I'm going to subtract 2 more, and now I want to subtract 1 from the 1s place. So there I go, it is gone. And I'm going to look back and see how many I have left in each place. I have 2 discs in the 1s place. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the tens place. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the hundreds place. And I have 3 in the thousands place. So my answer should be 2 and 793 thousandths. Let's do the written method and see if it comes out the same. 4 and 83 thousandths minus 1 and 29 hundredths. And I can go ahead and put a 0 over there in that thousandths place, just because it helps me keep everything lined up. 3 minus 0 is 3. 8 minus 9, as we know, is not possible, so I'm going to cross off this. And basically, I'm going to look at this and say 40 tenths minus 1 is 39 tenths. And now I can add 10 more to my hundredths place, and that 8 becomes 18. 18 minus 9 is 9. And 9 minus 2 tenths will be 7 tenths. And 3 1s minus 1 will be 2 1s. 2 and 793 tenths, and that is the same answer I got in my place value chart, so I'm feeling confident that it is right. Okay, it's your turn. You're going to subtract 48 hundredths from 6 1s. I hope you do a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in class tomorrow.